I've learned a lot over my more than 2 years of training, of serious, consistent training. In this video, I want to quickly share 5 things that I wish I knew when I started training. The 5 things that I find are probably the will have helped me the most when I first started training. The first thing is that bulking is a cheat code. When I first started training, I didn't necessarily want to bulk, and even later on, even recently, I didn't necessarily want to bulk because yeah, it's difficult. You have to eat a lot, and I was also a skinny kid, and I never really wanted to gain weight. I never wanted to eat more than required. For most of my life, I just ate as little as possible as I needed to survive. I was never really hungry, and even when I was, I just ignored it. And so I didn't want to bulk. And I watched some videos saying, hey, you can gain muscle without bulking. You can sit there and not eat in a surplus, not gain weight, but still build muscle. And it is possible. It isn't impossible, but it's more difficult. You're going to see very slow progress, if at all. And it's going to take you a lot of time and never will reach your true potential if you never decide to bulk. You need to, at some point, you need to eat in a surplus for at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Consistent surplus where you gain like 1 to 1.5 to 2 kilograms per month. Right now I'm bulking, and I hadn't bulked in months now. So now I'm bulking, and my goal is maybe to reach 90 kgs. So right now I'm at 83 kgs, and I'm gaining 2 kilograms per month, and my goal is to reach like 90, 88 kgs. So I'm gonna bulk for the next 3, 4 months. So I've understood how important it is. For a while, I tried to build muscle, even recently, over last year, I tried to build muscle without bulking. But it isn't even close to being as effective as how fast you build muscle when you're bulking. I remember when I first started training, like a few months after I got into training, and when I finally realized that I needed to bulk if I wanted to see some significant results. So when I finally decided to bulk, I remember it was during the summer holidays, and we had 6 weeks of holidays. And beforehand, I was like an athletic kid, but I was very skinny. I was weighing like 52, yeah, 52 kgs. And 6 weeks afterwards, when I came back to school, I was like 8, 10 kgs heavier. In 6 weeks, I gained a lot of weight. So yeah, I bulked too much, I bulked too hard, but still, I had gained a significant amount of mass. Of course, I had no gains, but it was also because I was bulking. If I hadn't bulked, I wouldn't have built even close to the same amount of muscle over these 6 weeks and over my 2 years of training. Now when I first started training, I was at 52 kgs. Now I'm at 83. So over 2 years, I've gained 31 kilograms. If I had just stayed at 52 kgs and I tried to build muscle there, I would be bigger than I was when I first started training, but I wouldn't have made such significant results as I did because I bulked. And if I had bulked more frequently than I did, I would be even bigger now. Because there was a long period of time where I wasn't really focused on building muscle as fast as possible, and I wasn't bulking. I was reluctant to bulk, and yeah, I didn't make such amazing results because I was so reluctant to bulk, even though it's so important to build muscle. So you have to be willing to bulk, eat more, gain some fat even. If you bulk correctly, you will gain a little bit of fat. But that's why cutting exists. At the end of the bulk, you cut out the fat for like 6 weeks, 2 months. But you need to be willing to gain some fat, to gain some weight. And it's actually fucking fun. In the beginning, I was so against bulking because I wasn't a hungry kid. I didn't want to eat. I didn't have a big appetite. But over time, I forced myself in the beginning, but now I have a very big appetite and I'm able to eat a lot like a bear. But in the beginning, I wasn't able to eat a lot, and that's why I was so skinny. So I spent a little bit too much time on the walking part, but now I want to talk about variation. Second thing is variation. Variation is important. Doing the same exercise over and over again can get you far, but adding some variation can make a big difference. Not only in the amount of muscle you build, but also to avoid injuries. There's something that's called overuse injuries. When you repeat same movement, the same exact movement, over and over and over and over again on the load, you then have a small risk, a higher risk than usual of injury if you never try to add some variation in your training. So recently I even took it further than I used to. So my training plan is I follow a push-pull leg split 2 times per week. So Monday push, so chest, triceps, shoulders. Tuesday pull, back, biceps, forearms, and rear delts. Wednesday legs. Thursday rest, and then Friday push, Saturday pull, Sunday legs. That's my split. But now what I've done, I just did this today. So today I had a pull workout. But my pull workout today, Saturday, was different from my pull workout on Tuesday. So now I just separated. I now have 2 different workouts for each part of the week. So on Monday, my push workout on Monday is now different from my push workout on Friday. My pull workout on Tuesday is now different from my pull workout on Saturday. And my leg workout on Wednesday is now different than my leg workout on Sunday. So I've added variation, I've added more exercises, not because I wanted to be so fancy with my routine, but because I slowly realized and I learned from people that I respect that are all very smart. Renaissance periodization, Max Ucida, Alex Leonidas, they all were talking about this. That you need to have maybe, if you train, like you have a split where you train each muscle group 2 times per week, you should add some variation. So in the first session, you have a certain set of exercises for a certain muscle group that you train. And then on the second day where you train that muscle group in a week, you have another set of exercises. They don't have to be that much different from the first set of exercises. They don't have to be totally different, but just a little bit of a different exercise can make a big difference in avoiding injury and even making more gains because you have more variation. So that's important to do. That's what I've been doing recently. And honestly, I haven't seen the results yet because I started to do this literally today, literally. But yeah, over the next 2-3 weeks, I'll tell you if I'm making more gains with this or not. Third thing, tracking rest times is a waste of time. So for pretty much my whole training journey until the last month, I was tracking my rest times. So when I say tracking my rest times, is after I finished the set, every set that I did, after I finished the set, I took my phone, I went to the alarm app, and I clicked on the stopwatch, and I turned it on. I wanted to be able to track every single rest time that I did. So I tracked my rest times, and I made sure that for every exercise, I rested 3 minutes, to sometimes 5 minutes, and I had pretty much the same rest time for pretty much close to every exercise. That's what I did. And I thought it was a good idea. And it's not like it was terrible. But around 1 month ago, I was in Spain with my family. And I trained with my brother. And my brother, he doesn't track his rest times. He just goes by feel. And I thought, yeah, it's not such a good idea. But just because I want to train with him, we do train together every day whilst we're in Spain. So I tried it. And I just instantly noticed that my training seemed to be a lot more effective and it was more enjoyable. So I started watching a few videos about this, and I watched a video by Renaissance Periodization called Why Tracking Your Rest Times is a Bad Idea. So I watched that, and in that video he gave some amazing advice and he gave some great arguments against tracking your rest times. So something that he said is that you don't need to track usage data. And he said about how long you've been resting. It's about if the muscle that's being trained is fully recovered and ready to go, if you're just physically ready to go and perform the exercise again. So I haven't been tracking my rest times at all, and I just go by feel. First, I follow four criteria that I learned from Renaissance Periodization, so Mike Isotel. First thing is cardio. When I feel like my breathing is back to normal. So certain exercises can be very difficult on your cardio, especially leg exercises like squat, just the barbell back squat, or even Smith machine squat. They are very taxing on your cardio. Every squat variation can be taxing on your cardio. So I never go back into a set if I feel like my cardio isn't back to normal. If I feel like my breathing isn't back to normal. I'm still breathing pretty heavily. I still feel tired. I still feel kind of lethargic. Second thing, it's just my central nervous system I feel just strong. I just feel like I'm ready to go. Third thing, synergist muscle. Synergist muscle are muscle that contribute to the movement, but aren't necessarily the main muscle that's being targeted through the movement. For example, on back squat, you're doing barbell back squat. Your goal on barbell back squat is to train your legs. It's to train your legs, but your lower back also plays a role, and your glutes always also play a role. So you shouldn't go back to another set if you feel like your lower back isn't ready and rested again. You still feel like your lower back has a lot of lactic acid in it, and you feel like it's still kind of tight and it isn't fully ready yet. So you still rest a little bit longer. And then the last thing, the target muscle, the muscle you're trying to train, is just ready to go. It's ready to, like, you could perform a pretty high amount of reps with it, like at least 5 reps. You have at least 5 reps in the tank. That's when you know, okay, it's ready. So I just mostly just wait until I feel like the muscle isn't burning anymore. So the first few minutes after the set, especially biceps, some certain muscle really burn a lot after performing a hard set or on any exercise for them. So I just wait until it doesn't burn anymore, and until I feel like, yeah, it's strong enough to at least perform at least 5 reps. And most of the time, if I did like 10 reps on the first set, I'll aim to at least do 6 reps, but maybe even 7. Fourth thing that I wish I knew when I first started training is nobody cares about what you're doing, and if they do, it doesn't even matter. So when I first started going to the gym, I was always so aware or anxious about what people around me would think, how they would look at me if I was performing a certain exercise. When I was performing, like, for example, training neck, the exercise I do for neck, I do neck curls. It's a famous exercise. You place like a plate on your forehead, and you lay on the bench, and you just move your neck up and down like this. And it seems it's honestly kind of weird. It looks honestly weird. It's a weird exercise, and I'm pretty sure I might be the only person in my whole gym that's doing that exercise regularly. So I know pretty much when people see me do it, they probably are kind of weirded out and they think to themselves, yeah, he doesn't even know what he's doing or something like that. So I started doing neck curls a few months ago, but then I stopped doing them. And it's not because I didn't think it was effective or something like that. It's just because every time I was doing it, I was anxious and I was looking around, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, they probably think I'm weird for this. So that's why I stopped doing it for months, and I just only recently started doing it again. And I just think shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't let the way you assume people will perceive you and what you're doing, you shouldn't let that affect the way you pursue your goals. So I've always wanted to have a big neck. I don't want to have big muscles on the rest of my body but have a small neck or a normal neck. I want my neck to be pretty big and pretty muscular. I think it helps you to look very masculine, in my personal opinion. So I think it's an important body part. So I also want to have a big neck. So of course, yeah, I'm gonna feel awkward because it looks kind of weird to perform an exercise. But I don't want that. I don't want my fear of judgment to stop me from achieving my goal of having a big neck. And you shouldn't either. If you want something, go and get it. I know it's cringe, it's like the thing from the motivational speeches, but it is true. If you want something, go and get it, and don't let your fear of judgment and what other people think stop you from it. Same thing in the gym. Don't let your fear of judgment and the way some people may perceive you stop you from performing certain exercises that you like and that you find effective. It's harder said than done, but the simple way to just get over it, you just do it. Just do it regardless of the way, how anxious you feel. Just do it anyways. And at some point, when you do it over and over again, even though you feel anxious, it will just go away and just feel normal again. That's what I've noticed at least. Fifth and last thing, work with what you've been given. We all have different genetics. Some people have bad genetics, some people have good genetics, some people have good bicep genetics, some people have bad bicep genetics. But the same person that has bad bicep genetics might have amazing shoulder genetics or back genetics. We all have different things. We all been given a different card. But sitting there and being sad and feeling miserable and wanting to give up just because you're not been given the same thing that someone else has been given, you're not been given the same cards as someone else. It's just useless. It's not gonna change anything. You can't change your genetics. The only thing you can do is just make the most out of what you've been given. For example, me, I have horrible calf genetics, but I still do my best to grow them as much as I can. I know I will never like have crazy amazing calves in my life because they're my calf genetics, when it comes to size at least, it's honestly horrible. It's terrible. And I see a lot of black people have the same thing. A lot of black people have calf genetics. My calves are very athletic. I'm able to sprint very fast, jump. I'm very springy, very athletic, very explosive. So my calves are very strong and athletic, but they're honestly not big at all. They look very small. And I've accepted that I will never have like the best calves. They will never be my best body part. That's something that I know because they're honestly horrible, my genetics when it comes to calves. But it's not like I'm giving up or I'll never train them. I train them, still train them very hard. I still focus on them to make them at least as big as I can make them at least as good as I can make them. But at the same time, I have good trap genetics. My trap genetics have always been good. Even when I wasn't super big, my traps were always like a good body part of mine. And I've heard from many people. I'm not sure if it's true, but I hear from many people that might have a good chest. So maybe I also have good chest genetics. I don't think I have amazing bicep genetics. So you see, I've been dealt different cards, but I'm not sitting here complaining about the cards that I've been given. I have bad calf genetics, but I have good back genetics. For example, I have like super big glutes. For example, it's something I don't know why I've been just gifted with glutes, even though I never train my glutes. I never train my ass. Never, ever train my ass. But they're just magically big thanks to my genetics. So I've been given cards and I just accept them. I'm just figuring out how to deal and make the most out of what I've been given. So that's why comparing yourself to someone else when it comes to bodybuilding, it isn't necessarily the best idea. First, it can lead to just general body dysmorphia. But because when you aim to just build the exact same physique as someone else, you're very likely to fail because you have different genetics. Not only in general bodybuilding genetics or muscle building genetics, but also certain body parts. You may have a certain body parts that's your strong point, but it's a weak point of that person, or vice versa. So just work with what you have. Work with the cards you've been given. And don't complain. Yeah. And it doesn't just apply to bodybuilding, it just applies to life in general. Work with your circumstances. Focus, there's a quote from the Stoic, the people in the Stoicism place. They always say, it's like a famous quote there. Oh wait, I think I forgot it. What was it again? I totally forgot. But it's something like, don't focus on what you can't control. And it's a simple quote, but it's true. If you can't control something, then there's absolutely no benefit to thinking about it. Just focus on what you can control. It's simple quote, but it's definitely the truth. It doesn't just apply to bodybuilding, it just applies to life in general. You may be born in a poor family, and if that's the case, I'm sorry for you. I'm also not. I've never been born in like a rich family, but I don't complain about it. I just think about how I can change that, how I can make a change. You've been given dealt cards. They may be good. Some of them may be good. Some of them may be bad. Instead of crying about it, complaining about it, do something about it. Make them work. Make the most out of the cards you've been dealt. I know I sound like a dumb motivational speaker right now, but dude, like it's everyone knows, like has heard of these things, but how many people actually apply them to their lives? How many people actually follow these principles in their lives? Not many. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Hope you found this video valuable. If you're interested in my fitness coaching, you can simply click the first link in the description. And yeah, don't worry from discomfort, chase it.